I'm Tommy from 103.9 The Bear. I'm with Garrett and Tanner of Tremonti. Gentlemen, great set.
Thanks, man. It was a lot of fun today.
You know, I've been noticing this thing about bass players in Tremonti. It's getting to be a little bit like Spinal Tap.
Yeah.
You gonna make it?
We'll see what happens.
Okay, man, because every time the wind changes directions, there's a different guy playing bass. But, man, great set out there, man. And from what I hear from Cauterize, man, this is going to be another heavy record.
We definitely wanted to capitalize with what we did on the first record. You know, we definitely knew we had to up our game, play better. You know, wanted to take a step forward, not a step back. So we just hunkered down, and we spent like 40 days in pre-production working on all 20 of the songs, and we did them all with Elvis Basket again. And we're proud of it. We got 10 songs coming out June 9th, and then we'll release the other 10 at some point, maybe this year.
All right, sounds good. You know, working with Elvis, man, he's a master of getting tones and being a drummer. You know, I know you weren't there, but being a drummer, that's got to be very important to you.
He's the best, man. When we all get in a room and we start hashing stuff out, it's almost like he becomes like a fifth member of the band. It's working with different producers. It's really easy for producers. It almost is like this like you versus them type thing going. And with Elvis, it's not like that at all. I mean, he just wants to get the best performance out of you and not using crazy samples. It's real drums. You know, so, and he will, when Mark and him get in the room and start working on guitars, they'll sit there for a day or so just dialing in tones. So he's definitely pretty crazy.
Okay, so Wolfie gets the call from Dad, hey, you got to go do this other gig. Yeah. How do you wind up here?
Well, I've been fortunate enough to just be friends with these guys for the last 12 years through Florida music scene and just being in different bands and being music buddies, and they called me up, and you know, obviously I'm very honored and to play with such killer musicians, you know, and try to fill shoes of Wolfie is pretty crazy. He's a badass, man. So I'm just glad to be out jamming with good dudes.
You look like you just got off a roller coaster at an amusement park. Like, man, this is really cool. Wolfie, stay gone.
Yeah. I love Van Halen. Keep doing it.
But anyway, though, man, you know, I've heard the first track from Cauterize, Another Heart. You know, really good song. I mean, a great song. You know, and man, this thing has got a lot of power behind it. But it's starting to sound more like a band now. The first record, I think it was just Mark. You guys play my songs.
Yeah.
I mean, am I close on that? And I think this one, you guys sound like it's more of a band this time. Maybe it was the first time. Maybe I got the wrong impression.
Mark's always been the main writer as far as the riffs. Me and Eric were more or less like, well, why don't you put that riff there and then that riff there? Me and Eric were more like the organizers. But it's definitely not just him doing everything. 9 times out of he'll be like, what do you guys think of this? And you know, we're either like or but it's fun, man. Since day one, he's always given us a lot of freedom. I remember he was just like, dude, play what you want drum wise. He's never been like, oh, don't do that or anything. He just wants everybody to play the best that they can play. But yeah, it's definitely a band, and everybody has a say, and it's good, man. It feels good to be out with these guys.
Well, I don't ever get out of the tent, and I've only went out twice the entire weekend. And you guys' set I caught, and it was great, man. Good drum tone too, man. They took care of you out front, man.
I try, man. I've been lucky enough. I've got really great gear, and It's really hard to get a bad drum tone when you have a really good drum with a really good head that's tuned really good.
But it sounded great, and the playing was great. I mean, you guys all sounded great, and you know, I'm really digging what you guys are doing. And man, Wish You Well went over great, man.
Yeah, that's one of our favorites to play live. It's just real crazy. So we're just happy to be back out playing.
All right, we've got Garrett and we've got Tanner. Get a good look at him. Who knows, man? You know, the bass player's very getting Spinal Tap-ish in Tremonti, so take a look. Hopefully he stays well and healthy. Anyway, I'm Tommy at your Rock 103.9 The Bear. Couple riders while you're here. Let's just keep going. Good to see you, Mark.
Good to see you, man.
Man, great show. I was just telling him I don't get out of the tent much, and I got over there and squeezed down like everybody else, and man, you guys hammered it.
Nice, thank you very much. We had a great time. We had a hammering kind of time. It was great.
Well, this record really, this Tremonti thing, it really allows you another outlet. You've been a fan of Pantera, Metallica, all that stuff, and these guys here, I mean, it's a really heavy outfit, so it really kind of gets you another outlet.
Yeah, I've had the speed metal thing in me since I was a little kid, and working with the same rhythm section for all these years, you get kind of stuck with not being able to do certain things. Branching out with this band, you can get as heavy as you want with these guys, and these guys love the heavy stuff, and it's just a part of me that I always wanted to expose,
Well, you're the guitar player here, man. Yeah, you got some great background vocals, and it's a really good, man, the vocal sound between the two of you.
Thanks a lot, man. I appreciate that.
How you liking that EVH?
I love it. I love it so much. It's very consistent. It always sounds good.
Yeah, Wolfie hook you up on that?
Yeah, Wolf and Ed, man. They're the best. They're the best.
I was just telling these guys, better get a look at this bass player. It's going to be like Spinal Tap here on these bass players, man.
I know, man. Somebody came up to him and was like, "Hey, Wolfgang."
Yeah, they're like, Wolfgang Van Halen. And he's like, nah, that was not me.
He's just telling me, looked like he just got off a roller coaster ride. He's like so happy. He's like, this is just so cool to be here.
It is cool to be here.
Well, you guys work with Elvis Baskett again. I mean, it just seems like a permanent fixture for you.
Yeah, he's just the best there is for our style of music, and he really inspires us to be a better band. So there's no reason to go anywhere else.
Yeah, Barbecue Bob from Blacktooth Barbecue, man, he told me to give you a holler, and he says thanks for all the love you've given him. He's seen that shirt wind up on the cruise everywhere, the last record from Bridge and everything, so he thinks that's just really awesome. You can't believe how happy this guy is.
Tell him I need a couple new designs. I'll wear them all over the place.
They're on their way. They're on their way.
Black and I'm a large.
Okay, there we go. We've got with Fret 12, man, with the thing that you're doing with your brother, man. I think that's really cool, the guitar lessons and stuff. I've seen some of the DVDs and stuff, and I really like how, because, you grew up learning all this stuff, watching, probably VHS tapes and stuff, trying to learn stuff. But those, I really feel like we're getting something.
Yeah, when Dan wanted to do this, he wanted to make it bigger and better than anybody else has ever done it before. And by doing that, he makes it more of like a documentary, a story on the guitar player. And then he's like, what did you always want to see in yours? I said, I wanted to see the guitarists teach me exactly what was on their record, teach me their solos, not teach me a bunch of exercises. Teach me what they're playing and some exercises. So that's what we did. On the first one, I had 4 guests come on, teach their styles, and then I taught. I think it's almost like a 3-hour-long DVD, but there's like an hour-long story, documentary style, and then I go over all the picking techniques, legato techniques, tuning techniques, finger style techniques, and then I teach every single record, every single solo on the Blackbird record on the first DVD. And then me and Miles got together and we did the Fortress DVD, where we taught both the rhythm and lead parts for the entire record.
Well, I really liked too how you went through your rig. You had your tech there on that first DVD. It was just really cool because I'm like going, I love this stuff.
Yeah, people like to see what happens behind the scenes and see what really goes into it. And sometimes it's good to just kind of listen to somebody talk, your favorite musicians talk. Because sometimes you'll pick something up just from what they have to say and their views on how to practice and how to go about being a better guitar player.
Well, Another Heart sounds great. Looking forward to Cauterize coming out in early June, right?
Absolutely, June 9th.
All right, sounds good. Thank you guys so much for taking the time.